Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to another wonderful episode of the Xbox Enthusiast Podcast. My name is Jamie, and I'll be your host on this enthusiastic podcast of Xbox greatness. And you all know my co-host, my player 2, Mr. Chris White.
I like that. That's good. I'm good. I like player 1 takes the lead. As we've been learning over these last few weeks of podcasts, I'm not very good at games, so I fit nice into a player 2 role.
Sure. Well, you know what you should also always do with games? You should buy them full price.
Full price.
And so our player 3, our managing editor, Mr. Full Price, Andrew Gonzalez.
That's
How
right.
you doing, sir? So, this episode is going to be a very special episode because this is the week after E3, and you actually had your first trip to E3.
Yep.
So what we're going to do, we're going to start the episode, we're just going to talk to Andrew a little bit and ask him about E3 and know how it was for his first adventure. And then after that, we're actually going to let you hear our top 5 games of E3. So make sure to stick around and check that out. But to kick it off, Andrew, was it worth it? Was E3 worth it?
100%. A lot of line. It was like an amusement park. There was entrances for each game. There was a weight limit for each game. Crowds of people.
So weight limit. They actually had to weigh you before you could go get and play the game?
I was waiting for that.
Like some things, there were like an hour, 120 minutes from this point.
Wow.
90 minutes from this point. And if you were a Zelda fan, I heard it went up to like 8 hours that one day.
Gosh. What was the longest that you waited in line?
The longest I waited was probably an hour and 15 minutes for We Happy Few.
Oh, wow.
Everything else was pretty calm. I spent most of my time at the Xbox booth, a lot of ID games, and then they had a few of their first-party titles, but it's pretty laid back in that area. So I went to some of the Ubisoft games, some of the Square games, but for the most part, it was at the Xbox booth a lot of the time.
Sure, cool. Now, before we get into the games that you were playing, let me ask you first, how was the travel? How far did you have to travel to get there?
It was about 6.5 hours by plane. And then Ubered and Lyfted everywhere in California. But, yeah.
Just hop on your app on your phone, you're good to go, right?
Yeah. Was this your first time in California?
No, I went there once before, 3 years ago.
Cool.
But it was the first time in LA. I went to other places last time I was there for vacation. I did vacation the last 2 days, but for the most part, I landed and then already was doing things. Like we tried to go to Bethesda's showcase, but we didn't make it in. We waited for about like 5 hours. Just made it to the after.
Man.
We made it for the after event, but not for the actual.
Okay. And didn't Blink-182 play or something?
Yeah, that's what made it worth it.
They've got a new album coming out next month.
Yep.
Awesome.
So just kind of before we jump into specifics about what all you played and what all you experienced, let's just talk about what you did. So you got there on Sunday. You missed Bethesda. You got to go to the after party, right?
Yep.
Monday you did Microsoft. You were at the Microsoft show?
Yeah, I woke up around 6:30, got there around 8 o'clock, and then it started at 9:30, but you had to get there pretty early to get in line to get your seats.
Cool. And now, did you get to go to any other shows, or was Microsoft the last show that you went to?
I just went to that one.
Cool.
So with that, you just had to wait in line and then just grab whatever seat's available?
No, they gave you a ticket with the section of the venue that you were in, and you just found any seat you wanted in that particular area.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So the earlier you got there, you could get a better seat. So it was worth waiting in line.
Sure. Cool. Well, I guess how was it being there live? Because you were telling us on our Microsoft review conference, you said like things were happening in the audience while you were watching the show.
Yeah.
So is it more immersive being there versus just like me and Chris, the losers just sitting at home?
the B team.
Well, I mean, the atmosphere is a lot bigger when you see an announcement, you don't hear the cheers as much as you do when they're actually happening in the venue next to you.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it so many times on the computer, and you'll hear a few claps.
Yeah.
But when you're there, you'll hear like enthusiasm from the people that are there. When Gears of War 4 was going and they took the buzzsaw gun and they cut the guy in half, the amount of people that were clapping at that moment was insane.
How was the Marcus reveal? Because that should have been pretty big, right?
They're clapping because I clapped. So
You were just crying, weren't you?
And yeah, I mean, when Sea of Thieves came on and the cannonballs were being shot, you could actually see like smoke that was flame colored coming out through the sides of the venue.
Huh.
So it really looked like, it was happening while you were watching the trailer.
That's cool. Super cool.
It sounds like going to like Disney World or something, like those 4D ride you sit down. That's awesome. So when the cannonballs like splash in the water, they sprayed you with water like a nice.
No, that would be really cool though.
And then it snowed for the Dead Rising
Yes,
reveal,
the
which was
trailer.
kind of cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I looked up and I saw confetti and I was just like, wait a minute, that's really weird.
Christmas music playing. It's like, wait, what are we trying? Time travel? Okay, so just a couple questions from the conference, and we got into a little bit of this on our review, so we don't have to jump into really deep detail. But just from the actual show being there, what did you feel was like the biggest moment? Like the moment that like last year, I would equate it to whenever they said backwards compatibility and the room went crazy. Like, what was that moment this year?
Oh, it might sound cliche, but Scorpio, the amount of people, at least, and even the people that I was with from the other sites, we were all just like, that's awesome. Like they killed it with that, and it's an awesome way to end it. Was expecting some game reveals. We didn't get that, but it didn't really matter because everything they showed is for next year. So
yeah,
sure.
I thought that was pretty good.
So what about so to flip that? Was there anything that you felt like maybe they wanted to be a big announcement that just kind of nobody seemed to respond to? Just kind of a dud.
It wasn't really an announcement, but Final Fantasy just
sank like a rock, huh?
The demo,
yeah. And then after that, going to experience it myself, it was terrible, and I thought
resounding recommendation from Andrew. Check out the new Final Fantasy.
I felt bad like when the guy was playing it on stage, thinking that he just played terribly, and then I went to play the demo, knew exactly what to do, and I made all the same mistakes, and then I was like, it's just the camera, it's the worst thing ever. And I realized it wasn't actually him playing bad, it was the game itself.
Sure. Now, is the camera something you think they can fix before release, or do you think it's just a problem with the game?
No, I don't think they can fix it. I mean, that game is huge. It's too far out, and
now,
it's coming really soon. So.
Was this the same demo they put on the marketplace a couple months ago? Because I played that, and the camera was horrible in that too.
The demo that was on the show floor was the same exact one from the conference.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in that demo, the camera was bad in that too. So
it's terrible. That's the only word I can say. It's just.
Speaking of Final Fantasy, though, did you get to try out the Final Fantasy VR stuff at all? I'm just curious.
No.
About that.
Everything on the Sony side, you have to use an app to make an appointment with.
Really?
And I didn't realize that till the final day. And when I downloaded the app, all the times were taken.
It sounds to me like because you work for Xbox Enthusiast, they knew that, and so they didn't want to tell you.
Yeah. The PlayStation.
Well, I mean,
there's Sony guys.
someone from PlayStation Enthusiast actually tried it, and he played the demo that I played before the VR demo, so he tried it on both and said it was terrible both times.
You can pre-order Final Fantasy now, folks.
Absolutely.
The worst part, but like I'm such a huge Final Fantasy fan that with that long development cycle, I really want to play it, but I don't have any optimism anymore. It's long gone.
Well, since we know, I'm assuming that's your least favorite game of the show by far, right? So what did you feel was your favorite game of the show? Just from hands-on experience.
Well, originally was Sea of Thieves because that was one of the first games I played, and then I know Chris will be happy, but Recore totally killed it. Totally.
Yes, I'm so
awesome.
Pumped.
It's kind of complicated, but kind of unique. It's really unique. They dropped this in about halfway through the game, I think, or like pretty far in, and the enemies even have levels, so I think there's some RPG elements to it. And each button on the D-pad corresponds to a different color bullet, and then every enemy is a different color. So they're yellow enemies, red enemies, blue enemies, and you can deal more damage by switching to the right ammo type, but they can be damaged by any type. So it's a lot of like ammo management and cool stuff, and you can use your companions to do like finishing moves and then platforming stuff, and it's pretty cool.
Cool. Now that's definitely a game where Chris has been championing that game for quite a while.
It's true.
And I mean, I thought it looked interesting, but this year when I finally learned what it was, saw how it played, I am super hyped for this game. It's gonna be awesome.
It had the longest line throughout the whole week, and then I didn't play it till the last day when like the last day a lot of people leave early, they're catching flights or getting ready to leave, so I waited till the last day, and the 3 hour line that I normally had was cut down to about 45 minutes. So
nice.
I was like, I'm gotta make sure I play it before I leave. So after I was done with my appointments on the last day, I just went straight to the line, and however long it was, I was going to wait.
And I mean, you were going up to play, and right before you played, Zac Efron just walked up in front of you and just took the controller and started playing, right?
I would be okay with that. That'd be cool.
I just remember which company was it? Was it EA? Where afterwards, like, we're giving you, it was Battlefield 1. It was a live demo, and they had Zac Efron and who's the other guy? There's like
James
two celebrities.
Fox.
Yeah,
James
that's
Fox. Right. And it wasn't after. It was like in the middle of the show. They're like,
really?
Let's cut to the booth. They're like, hey, you guys are famous. What do you think about this game? They're like, oh, yeah, cool, dog. I'll play it. All right, back to the stage. What in the world?
Andrew, let me ask you, because now I know your favorite. Well, what was your biggest surprise, I should say? What was your biggest, like, you weren't expecting to like it, and you got your hands on it, and now you're kind of super excited for it?
I mean, another first-party Sea of Thieves, totally awesome. You need to play with people. If you don't play with people, you're not going to have fun. Because I was...
that's foreshadowing to our top 5 that's happening later in the show, because Chris does talk about that.
Yeah, because when I played, it was just like the trailer that you saw, where they put you in 3 teams of 5. And they just threw you in there with no knowledge of how to play it. You just had to kind of figure it out. Right away, everybody in my crew got drunk, which was funny because we didn't know the buttons, and we all drank the ale. And so we're stumbling to the ship, and I get on, and they were like, okay, we need to lower the sails, we need to do this, we need to do that. And then I got on like behind the wheel. They were telling me how to steer because you can't see in front of you when the sails are up. So your team has to basically tell you, like, turn left, turn right, do this, do that. So like a rare developer was the 5th person on the crew. He was telling us, like what to do, helping us out or whatnot. So he said, I don't have to be behind the wheel anymore because we were in a straight line. But the way the wind shifts, our boat had slightly turned, and we were going straight into an island.
Now, can your ship break apart? Like, can it, like, can you crash?
We hit the island, and it was pretty strong because nothing happened. But then we turned, as we were trying to back out, both enemy ships were coming in opposite directions of each other and shooting at us. So we had 2 people on one cannon, 2 people on the other, and then one guy decides, okay, now I'm going to steer out of the way. We're getting shot, and then we're running like underneath to board up the holes, and then it just It was fun stuff.
So here's
that's
a question that I have, because I have a really big concern with Sea of Thieves, and it's because there's sharks in the game. Did you
No.
Did you play in the water at all?
No. The one guy was jumping on the ship when it was moving too fast, and he fell off the boat.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get him back in. It was really funny.
So were there sharks in the build? Like, did that guy get eaten?
If there was, I didn't see it.
You never saw any.
I was on the boat the entire time. Trust me, I don't like sharks as much as you do.
Listen, they showed that trailer when the guy jumps off, and there's like 8 sharks in that one little vicinity. I'm like, if this place is filled with sharks, we're gonna have some trouble.
Though it's very cartoony, so I don't think it's gonna be as bad as.
Bro, I don't know.
It doesn't matter. He's just gonna curl up into a little ball in the corner.
The best part though is like when you're sailing and someone pulls out an accordion and plays like pirate music while you're.
Oh, now wait, the person who's playing the music, can they
drowning?
choose what they're playing?
No, it's preset, but it's really funny.
Yeah, and I heard that like if everybody does it, that you can actually like it'll like sync up. So
cool.
like if 4 different people are playing, like they'll each, because they're in the vicinity, they'll each play like a different part, but they'll all sync up no matter what time or whatever they're in. It'll all kind of sync up. What I found interesting and what I'm hoping, so first off, I don't think Sea of Thieves is close. I think after what we saw and not really getting a confirmation, I think this is definitely a 2017 game, which disappoints me on one hand, but it still excites me because the game looks great. But in that trailer, when the guy does jump in, and of course we joke about the sharks, which I'm not joking, that scares me to death. but then it goes under the sharks, and there's like sunken ships and mermaids, merpeople, and like I'm totally into like the whole idea of this, of you losing your ship and then being able to go back and like dive down and get stuff that treasure that you may have left on it. Like this game could turn out to be like for me it's kind of the same vibe as like No Man's Sky as pirates. Mm-hmm. Like I just feel like if they can capture that, get in the ship, sail anywhere, pretty much do anything that you want to do, discover merpeople, discover Atlantis, like stuff like that could be a super super long deep experience that I'm looking forward to. But everything they showed was great.
Now, Andrew, is it like No Man's Sky? Is it completely randomly generated every time you play it, or is it they have a set like world you're always in?
I believe that it's randomly generated. I am not 100% sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and I actually don't know that we really know 100% what they're doing, but like nothing's really been talked about how big the game world's going to be or how many people. I mean, you're probably not going to imagine that all 5 million people or whoever is playing are all in the exact same game world. So you imagine there's probably a cap there. So I don't think they've talked about how many people can be in a on a server, and so there's probably a lot more that they're probably still trying to figure out too. But if it's so what I heard about the demo, Andrew, is that that kind of everybody that was playing the demo at the same time ended up at the end of the demo kind of meeting together in like one big firefight. Is that kind of how yours turned out?
Yep.
Yeah. So like, give me an idea of how are we talking about, like 5 groups that were playing,
it's
or
just
10?
3 groups of 5.
Okay, so 3.
So is that the max limit?
15.
I don't think they've announced it. I just know the demo there was always 3 groups of 5, just like you saw in the conference.
Yeah, so. Yeah. So again, that goes back to we don't really know. So, but at least 15 people are going to be playing on the same server. I mean, who knows what that can be in the end result. So the game looks great. It looks like everything I want it to be. It looks like Rare. So I'm just excited to play it.
Yeah. Now,
it's looking good.
Cool. Now, Andrew, I noticed that the lines are pretty long. Was there any game you wanted to get your hands on, but just due to time you couldn't? Outside of Zelda?
Not from an Xbox standpoint. No. Anything that all their first party games that were there, I played. I didn't play Halo Wars.
You can play that beta now, right? Is that still going? Is that over?
I think there's like a day extension, but
but I think it's already done.
Yeah, I didn't play Halo Wars. Gears wasn't playable. Scalebound wasn't playable. Other than that, everything else that they've announced was good. It was there. Forza was there. Sea of Thieves, Recore, Dead Rising 4 was in the Xbox booth as well, and then a ton of ID games.
Yeah. Did you play Dead Rising?
I did. I played that the first day I was there.
Okay.
So give us some feedback on that.
They were saying it's Dead Rising 3 on steroids, and they were 100% correct. I mean, you start with an axe that's electrified, and when you get enough special meter built up, you basically put the axe in the air like if you're Thor and bring down lightning from the sky and destroy everything.
I love it. I love like that. Like, I like the trailer because it kind of had the same feel as Dead Rising normally does, and then it started jumping into him wearing like a Mega Man suit. Like I mean, it's just like I'm like, this is everything that I love about video games.
It's called exo armor, and you can find that like in random military trucks, and it basically straps onto you. When you have that, you can pick up things like the street lamps, from the side of the road.
Smack it thing.
You can,
Oh my gosh.
Cool.
This sounds awesome. And it's in December, right?
December, yeah.
Yeah, December 6th, I think.
So good.
Now, is it, because I know like the rumors going into it were that it was going to be a reboot. We know it's not necessarily a reboot. We know that Frank West is back. Is it the same mall, though, the same town? So is it? We
weren't in a mall in the demo. It was in the city.
But was it the same city from Dead Rising 1?
I don't remember. Okay. I mean, the environments kind of always look the same, but as far as I can tell, I don't know.
Okay, because the trailer had the mall, which led a little bit of credence to it, being kind of a reboot. Mm-hmm. It actually would be cool if they are telling the story of Frank West back where it started, but like the mall now is only just like this small part of this huge open world that he's going to get to play in. It looks great. Again, I'm not open world games always kind of scare me a little bit, but a game like that where you literally the point is just to cause as much damage or chaos as possible. Like, I think I could get behind something like that.
Now, Andrew, I have to ask, because I know you were super excited about it. We Happy Few, how did it feel to get your hands on it? What did you think? And did you play just what they showed on screen, or were you able to play farther into the game?
What they showed there was only like the first 4 minutes or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Played about 15 minutes of it. I got stuck for the first 3 minutes in a bunker because I didn't know where I was going. Turns out
you wasted valuable time.
Have to open the door.
Turns out the locker I needed to go was right in front of me, but I didn't see it. The game is really twisted, and I love it. But from what I was told waiting on the line, something tragic happens during World War II, I think, and the world's been like in chaos. So someone develops a drug called Joy, which the survivors of that like event use so they can forget about it. And you play as a guy whose drug has worn off, and he basically sees the world how it is years after, and you can choose to take the drug or not. And then people who don't take it are called downers because they are remembering a very dark time. So if you're not on it, you see the world as like dark and gloomy, and if you take it, if you take it, if you take it, everything is vibrant and colorful and everybody's happy. But by taking it, you get side effects. You can become addicted. A lot of things happen. Awesome. But if you don't take it, you're suspicious. And you need to, basically, if you like jump, if you do anything that a person on Joy wouldn't do, you're already on like their watch list. And you need to find water. You need to find food. You need to sleep. You need to keep track of all of these different health related things.
Wow.
Okay, so now,
really cool.
so a couple things. First off, I didn't realize it was kind of an alternate take on history, which I actually dig. I thought it was just kind of a made up place, but kind of taking place within the timeline of a world war is kind of cool. So
I think it takes place in the 60s, like 1964 maybe, or 65.
Nice. Here's what I don't necessarily understand, and I've read several previews, including yours. Which, if you guys don't know a lot about the game, I would encourage you to go to XboxEnthusiast.com. Andrew has a really good preview up for that. But it's a roguelike.
Yes.
Which I didn't. So can you kind of explain to people that, because they don't really show that on stage. I mean, stage was mostly a cinematic, and then you roll down kind of the stairs, and I assume that's kind of where the game opens up. And up until I read your preview, and then I did a little research myself this afternoon, I didn't realize it was a roguelike. That completely changed the idea of the game. So tell us kind of how that works.
From what I've gathered, because I've only played that one part, every time you die, everything is randomly generated. So you have the same objective, but how you're going to do it is never going to be the same. The world itself is completely different. So you're always going to want to escape. You're going to try to get out of there. And that's always going to be the same thing. It's just how you do it. It's going to be different.
And when you say out of there, you mean out of this town, like escape this town. Now, so the end goal then is to escape Happyville.
There are other areas. Apparently, and there's apparently also different characters with different motivations that will be in the final version of the game. But right now, we only know the first character, which his name is Arthur, and that's who you see in the demo. But there are other characters. There is, from what I've heard, like a linear story, but the game itself is randomized.
Sure.
So I guess, and I don't know if they maybe include you in on this. So let's say that it is linear. You're supposed to be gathering whatever and trying to divide the plan to get. When you die, do you start, because a roguelike is starting over at square one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming that nothing that you have done kind of sticks. So you're basically having to do it all over again.
I would assume. I'm not sure of. I would assume it, but I mean, it's a tough game when you don't know what you're doing. But I mean, that's kind of the appeal of roguelike. You learn how to do it, then eventually you can, progress without dying all the time. Because the second
playing like Chris.
the second I walked into the town, I walked past a woman and she was just like, "Who are you?" and started chasing me. And then eventually I found a park bench and I started reading a newspaper, and they stopped following me. But for the sake of time, because the show floor was about to close on the last day, for the last 5 minutes I just started attacking people and running and doing whatnot. But
all right, so we need to move on. Well, let me just say this, and then we'll move on from us, or from whatever from We Happy Few. It kind of reminds me, and it wasn't a roguelike, but it kind of reminds me from what I've read now and hearing you. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Majora's Mask, where you basically start each day and you have to do a series of tasks, and then the world ends. You rewind time, and then you kind of do it again. So it's almost kind of gives me that vibe where you're going to eventually die because it's a roguelike, but you've learned kind of specific things to do in a specific order, so that when you do die and you start over again, now you can go do those things quicker. But, like in your case, it won't take you 10 minutes to leave the room because now you'll know. Now you'll know where to go.
Here's the door.
The only difference is that the environment changes completely. So even if you knew where to go the first time, you may not know where to go the second time, because it's going to be somewhere entirely different. And
wow.
I mean, it's really cool. There's a sleep mechanic, and they're like, you can sleep, but at the same time, it could be dangerous to do so. But if you don't sleep, you get really tired, and you can.
Wow.
I watched some demos of it. It was kind of funny because you're walking through and it's all like dark and dreary, and they take the joy and they're going da, 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 da. It's like a rainbow in the sky.
That's great. That's great.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, the game looks phenomenal. I'm excited. So okay, we can move on.
Sure. And outside of We Happy Few and the other games you talked about, any other big highlights you think from the show?
I played a lot of Tekken 7.
Oh, that's right. You are a big fighting fan. That's right.
That's true.
Yeah, that game was awesome. I can move on from that because you guys aren't fighting fans.
For fighting fans out there, how is it compared to other fighters? I mean, do you think it's going to be pretty good?
I'm buying it day one, full price.
Full price, Andrew. That's right.
Yeah.
There's nothing he won't buy.
No, it was entirely awesome, and the way that they set it up there was kind of arcade style rules. So if you won, you stood on and played the demo some more. Then other people came,
cool.
and if you lost, you went back in line.
That's great.
Awesome.
That's super cool. Now let me ask you, and I don't follow fighting circles. Was 7 was it expected? Because it felt like it was kind of a surprise at the show.
Well, it was a surprise that it was on Microsoft stage.
Okay.
That's a very Sony oriented title.
Now, is it exclusive or
No.
Okay,
as far as I know, it's everything. They just showcased it over at Microsoft.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess just to get back to where we started, when you walked into E3 and you actually went into the building, I'm assuming you had shock and awe on your face from the beauty, right? What was the first thing that caught your eye when you walked into this place? Like the amount of people, were there like certain booths, or like what caught your attention?
I got there a few days before, so I did walk in to know where the entrances were, but the day of, I just didn't expect as many people as there were. And you never really want to do the first party, like the Microsoft, Sony, or in this case Zelda, the first day, because everybody rushes to them. So I was doing a lot of third party stuff.
Okay. Well,
the UB lines were a little long. They were
really. Well, so was their conference.
Oh man, where's a rim shot when you need one?
That's awesome.
I didn't play For Honor because the line was about 2.5 hours. That was a hugely popular game down there.
Cool. Now, so from Ubisoft, was For Honor, I mean, was that the biggest game there? Because I know they had some exciting stuff like Just Dance, and they had that Eagle VR game.
They had people dancing to Just Dance on the center stage while I was waiting for games.
Shoot me.
And
how was Watch Dogs? I mean,
it wasn't playable.
Oh, okay.
Man.
It was like a demo that you sat down and looked at. South Park was the same thing. There wasn't a gameplay demo for it. I did play Steep, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Give us a real quick. So that's that's a extreme sports game, but it's supposed to have like a story component to it.
That I don't know. I did not see the Ubisoft conference. I went on the line. I played. You can change your sport on the fly, which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
You press a button and you can choose wingsuit, skis, or snowboard, and then you automatically switch to it.
So if you're one of those wingsuits and you're flying and you hit skis, you're just gonna drop.
That I don't know. You probably just have to be on the ground.
Is it more simulation or like arcadey? Are we talking like SSX or
no? It's a lot more grounded than that one. And it's seamlessly online as well. So if you're playing, you'll see your friends or other people on the mountain as well. You can start races. You can.
That's cool.
I think you can create different events for people to do. You can start anywhere on the mountain on a checkpoint, and then you'll just go to that part. And then start from there. So you can fast travel to the black diamond level slopes and
So now, will that game, will it have like an actual story, or is it just ski against your friends and stuff like that?
I don't know. Everything that I played just seemed like you're on a mountain, do whatever you want.
Okay.
I feel like it may end up being kind of like Forza Horizons in the way that, there's a story as of like, oh, go to this mountain peak and do all of these races so you can unlock this next mountain peak. But it's mostly just about kind of free rolling around and just like free racing and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
and it was really fun. And I mean, there aren't that many games like that anymore. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Andrew, next big question. Did you get some killer swag? I mean, did you get some awesome shirts and keychains and all that cool stuff they just throw out at the audience?
Yeah, I got a few shirts. I got from EA Play. They had their like side show that wasn't a part of E3, but happened during E3. So I got a Titanfall t-shirt.
Cool.
I got a shirt from the Bethesda after show that they had. And then I got a Sea of Thieves shirt.
Oh wait, you got the one with the like all the characters on it? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh!
Oh, come on, man!
I wanted that shirt so freaking. I went as soon as the show was over. I went to their online store. I would have bought one, but they're not for sale.
Yeah. And then I got a Sea of Thieves shirt. They were giving 3 different ones out, and each one. Oh wait, so there might be only 3 crews because there were 3 colors, and each one had a different crew like symbol on it. Cool. And then I got a Recore shirt.
Oh man!
They had.
You didn't get any for us, Chris.
Oh,
I think they had shirts like each colored shirt might have been a companion. So they gave me a gray shirt, which is Jules, the main character.
Oh, cool.
Cool. So here's a tangent, and Jamie gets mad about our time, but here's your tangent. Why don't they sell these flipping shirts to me? I don't understand. Like, there's nowhere. There's no like. I would literally budget out a monthly clothes budget to buy like I want a Lego Star Wars Force Awakens shirt. I want a Mighty Number 9 shirt, even though that game kind of sucks. We don't
know that yet.
Hey, Andrew's still buying it full price.
That's true.
It's only $29.99.
I want a Recore shirt. I want that Bethesda stinging Bethesda shirt. Come on, give me a store that sells this crap, and I will buy it.
It's the perk. It's like the perk of going there. Like I got a Lego Dimensions Green Arrow figure that you can only get there.
Yeah, that's trash. That's really cool. That's fine. You can have that crap. I want T-shirts.
I really thought it was going to be Supergirl, and then we're like, and they were like, and. We like giving things away, so here is your, and I'm like, Supergirl, and they're like, E3 Green Arrow figure, and I'm just like, I'll take it, but I wanted Supergirl.
Oh man, you are spoiled, man.
Oh, no doubt.
Now I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, okay. What was your favorite piece, though? I mean, between the T-shirts and the little, Green Arrow figurine and all that, what was your favorite thing you brought back from E3?
Just the shirts. Well, I did get a Titanfall 2 poster signed by Todd McFarlane, which
cool.
was pretty cool.
Wait. Well, okay, hold on. Why is Todd McFarlane signing Titanfall? Did he do art on it?
He also has like the figures. His toy line did figures.
Oh, he does the okay.
And I think he also drew the poster. So cool, he was there signing.
I mean, I love Todd McFarlane. I just didn't get the Titanfall reference, but that's really cool.
That is really cool. And by the way, Chris, if you want, you could probably hop on eBay right now and buy one of those shirts for hundreds of dollars.
Come on. Just give me a store. Like, Microsoft doesn't even, I just want a freaking green shirt that says Xbox One on it. And Microsoft doesn't even sell those.
Like, I didn't have time to wait on the line, but if you play Battlefield 1, they gave you a dog tag with a personalized engraving on it of your choice.
Oh, that's really
So,
cool.
like, you could put, like, your gamer tag on there or your name.
I would put hashtag Chris was right. And suck it, Andrew, for not bringing me a shirt.
But man, okay. Andrew could have had hashtag full price Andrew. That would have been awesome. By the way, I just want to say, Anthony Cantu was the one who tweeted at us and said we should name him Full Price Andrew, so it just kind of stuck. So thank you, Anthony. Just wanted to say that. Put a shout out there. But okay, Andrew, to kind of wrap this up. let's say someone's going to E3 for the first time next year. What's some good advice for them? What did you learn this year for next year that's going to be important for you?
You should eat.
You know, hey, I'd like to say for the record, that's pretty good life advice in general. But go ahead, Andrew.
No, just so busy, and the food there is expensive, but I mean, it's so busy that there were times where I would eat breakfast in the morning, but then not eat till I got back to my hotel. And
not bad. That's bad. You got to get carbs, man. You got to get some like protein bars.
See, the whole time you thought you were playing We Happy Few, you were just kind of going through like lack of food. You were just kind of passing out. You didn't even know it.
And make sure
awesome.
And you got to make sure you sleep a lot before you go, because you're not sleeping at all when you're there.
So what was your normal day like? What time did you get up and leave, and what time did you get back to the hotel? I'm just curious.
Well, the first day, because it opened later, I got to the place around 10. It opened at 12. So I woke up around 8, had breakfast, got there around 10. A normal day, it opened at 10, so I'd get up around 7, eat breakfast at 7:30, get to the venue around 8, was doing some writing, got online around 9:30, and then doors opened, did my thing.
Okay.
Damn.
So how was travel, like between the hotel and the conference center?
No, it was pretty good. Lyft.
Okay.
I used the Lyft and Uber all the time, usually only waited 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Most of the rides were only $5-6, with the exception of the Bethesda party, which the price had gone up by 250%, so it cost me $35 or $40 to get back to the hotel.
So wait, why did it go up so much?
Because a lot of people are asking for an Uber. The more people who are requesting a ride, the more expensive it gets, because they need a bigger demand.
I didn't realize that.
I did not know that. See, I'm in small town Ohio over here. We don't have Uber here.
We have it. I just don't need it.
Yeah, the more people requesting at a certain time in a certain area, the rates go up. So at one point it was 200% the amount of the rate. So if it was $11, they're adding an additional $22 to my charge.
Golly.
That's crazy, man.
Well, you know, you got to see Blink 182, right?
It was worth it. Yeah, it was worth it.
That's cheaper than a Blink 182 concert ticket. So
yeah.
There you go.
I've been wanting to see them like for the past 13 years, so it was worth it.
And they're back. They are back and better than ever, right? So that's awesome. Actually, I heard, speaking of those old bands, I think Sum 41's got a new album coming out too, as well. Like, there's all those older punk bands are all kind of like.
You need to confirm that. Don't get me happy.
It's October. Actually, I do know that it's coming out in October.
Because if this isn't a real thing, it would be very sad.
Go Google it. Sum 41, new album in October. All these bands I used to listen to in high school are like all coming back and making new albums. It's crazy. With that wonderful talk of music, we're going to cap up our wonderful E3 conversation with Andrew and his adventure. So, Andrew, was it worth it?
100% yes, and I would totally do it again.
Awesome.
Cool.
So, Chris and I tried to hold down the fort. So,
yeah.
But as for the rest of our E3 coverage, before we hop into our top 5 discussion, go onto our YouTube page, check it out. We have reviews of all the conferences, Bethesda, EA, Ubisoft, Microsoft. They're all there, so make sure and check those out. We also have other videos. We talk about Project Scorpio. We give our opinion on that. And we also have our top 5, which you are about to hear on this as well. So make sure to check that out. You can also find all of Andrew's previews on XboxEnthusiast.com. So make sure, go there, read them. They are awesome.
There are more on the way.
Sure, absolutely. Now, Andrew,
ton of them.
I guess to plug something, what is one preview you're very proud of you want people to check out?
Outlast 2.
Okay.
That game, I think I jumped so many times, and if it wasn't because I was in a public place, I would have been screaming. It was terrifying.
Actually, you were screaming, just didn't know that.
No, I was terrified. You can, like, anybody who actually saw me there can visually see my fear. Like, just, it was scary.
Like, people on the other side of the venue are like, "Do you hear that? It's like someone stepping on a cat. Where's that coming from?"
The thing is that the volume on their headset was at the maximum setting.
Man.
Oh.
So every time, there was one part where you're in a vent system, and that's when the game gives you the mechanic to look behind you. And I was like, nope, like I don't want to look behind me. But then on each ear, someone is whispering to you. So like I can hear a whisper on my left ear, and then I turn around, nothing's there. But then I hear it on my right ear. I turn around, nothing's there. And as you're going, eventually you hear it, and when you turn around, something grabs you from behind, and I screamed like inside. I didn't actually scream there.
Sure. We'll believe you. If anyone went to E3 and has a YouTube video of Andrew screaming.
Yeah,
it's funny because the first time I played the demo, it crashed near the end, and then I said I was gonna come back and play it, so I knew where every scare was. I knew what to expect. Mm-hmm. I jumped every time.
That is awesome. That is a sign of a good demo.
And I knew when it was coming too. I was like, okay, the third time I look back, the thing will be there, and sure enough, I still jumped. And then there's another scene where you're in a school, like right after that, and the lockers are going everywhere, and all the doors are locked, and you're trying to figure your way out. And I'm like, okay, something's going to jump out. But the first time it took a few minutes. The second time I'm thinking a few minutes. It jumped out in about 20 seconds, and it caught me off guard.
That is awesome. And actually, that sounds like one of your top games at E3. But speaking of top games at E3, Andrew, we wish you au revoir, and we will bring in Steve of our Xbox Enthusiast team to talk about our top 5. So stick around and check it out. Hello, guys, and welcome to another wonderful episode of E3 Conversation from your friends at Xbox Enthusiast. My name is Jamie, and I am joined by Chris and Steve once again. And today we're going to talk about our top 5 games of E3 2016. So are you guys ready to roll?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm outside.
That's it's good to know.
You're welcome.
With this, it's not just the three of us that put this list together. It was the entire Xbox Enthusiast team, and there were multiple calculations that went into this. So we're actually going to go through our top 5 here, and then maybe afterwards we'll talk about what we think should have made the list in our own opinion. So let's kick things off with number 5. Number 5 is Mass Effect Andromeda from EA. Now, I am super hyped for that game. It was also on my list. It wasn't my top choice, but it was also on my list because Mass Effect, at least the original trilogy, was just probably my favorite story of last generation. It's awesome. I cannot wait to get my hands on this new game. But what about you, Chris? Are you excited? Are you pumped? Do you want more Garrus love in your life?
Yeah, so like I'm not a big fan of Mass Effect 1.
What?
Yeah, I mean it was
Steve, are you excited for?
Look, I know that Mass Effect 1 is lost on me. It's much more to the RPG roots that people of that genre really like. I really preferred kind of stepping up the action in Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 was one of my favorite games of the 360 generation. Not a huge fan of the way it ended in Mass Effect 3, but I still love Mass Effect 3. I thought it was a great game. Super pumped for just the idea of getting back in the world. Just a new galaxy, new characters. I posted the news story. We have the reveal of the ship called the Tempest. So it looks like a much bigger ship. So it should be a lot of fun. Just to kind of explore and discover. But Mass Effect for me has always been really at its core a story about characters, which. A little backwards there, which is what makes it stand out. I think about things that we like on TV. Right now there's a lot of love for things like Game of Thrones and Walking Dead, and those are shows that just focus on character development. And for me, that's exactly what Mass Effect 2 was in video game form. It was all about meeting these different races and these different people and getting them to join you, and just that character building, which I love. So seeing it go in a new direction with a new set of rules, new set of characters, super pumped for it.
Cool. And Steve, what about you?
Well, I'm far more into shooters than RPGs, but I do have to say I absolutely loved Mass Effect 1. I wasn't, like I said, I'm not really into RPGs, but I just think the way that game handled it, particularly with the branching dialogue and everything like that, it just worked really well, and I loved the sci-fi setting. There were some pretty major technical issues with that game. The texture pop-up was horrendous, and the loading times with the lifts were just pretty awful. But if I've heard that they're supposed to be going back to a more kind of discovery-based system, like in the first game, where you were constantly going around in the Mako trying to find things, and that just really excites me. That kind of exactly what I want in a Mass Effect game.
Sure, and like in number 2, they kind of shrunk it down and just kind of scanned planets, which kind of took away some of the exploration, which I didn't like. I agree. I liked exploring the planets. That was awesome.
I would agree with that. I think that exploration, I think, is the key. You know, they talk about the story, and the story really is us finding where humanity is going to go next. I mean, that's the whole from what they're saying. The whole crux of the story is discovery, is looking for that next land. So hopefully that stays true to what they're doing, and we get a game that is about exploration. I think about, there's always the argument between Star Trek fans and Star Wars fans, and I actually like both of the series, but I like the practicality of Star Trek and the fact that that's what we we were. I mean, we were explorers in this country. I mean, and so it's like it's the same thing. It's this idea of going to wherever where our next destination is, and that's an interesting concept, and hopefully they stick with it pretty good.
Sure. Now, quick question before we move on to our number 4. Did you have a male or female shepherd, and what was their name? Chris, go.
I had a male shepherd. I named Jack Shepherd because I was addicted to Lost.
Steve, what about you?
I played through every single game twice. I had a male character that I went through the game first with the male character called John Shepherd, who I did like every positive decision, and then I went through again with the female character called Jane Shepherd, and was as evil as I could possibly be. I mean, any chance I would kill people, like every negative decision I could take, I took, just because I wanted to see as the game progressed what the differences actually added up to. Do you know what I mean? So all the way from 1 to 2 to 3, I had the male character making every single positive choice, like it was like Paragon or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And just trying to be like this ultra good person, and then I just got completely evil with the woman character.
Very nice, very nice. So now, do you do that because you think all women are evil? Is that?
No, not at all. Just I started the game with a male character, and I wanted to. I quite like doing kind of the good things in these kind of games, so I did that first, and I thought I'll try and shake it up a bit. And it's like, right, I'll do the opposite this time. I'll be female and I'll be evil. So yeah.
That's always more fun. That evil playthrough is always more fun.
Now, weren't John and Jane like the standard names for those characters?
Yeah, I didn't bother changing it at all. Sorry.
That's boring.
Do you do that? Do you do that normally?
No.
Like, do you normally go default?
No, I'd normally change it to my name just because I'm sad like that. I'd normally put Steve and then whatever character, and then. It kind of depends. Like in like football games or whatever, I'll like add my friends in and then deliberately hack them down. But
We're learning new stuff from Steve today.
So true story. My freshman year in college, we spent a lot of time on the N64 with WWF. I don't think I had changed at that point, so I think it was WWF No Mercy, and we literally created.
Don't give those pandas any mercy at all. Those pandas deserve to die.
But this wrestling game, we literally created every single guy in the guy's dorm room and most of the faculty. And we would have like Saturday night Royal Rumbles, and we would just beat the crap out of the teachers. It was morbid now that I think about it, but we had a ton of fun.
Well, to get back on Mass Effect real quick, for me, I played as a female Shepard, played through on Paragon, played through the good side, and named her Agnes. Agnes Shepard.
Agnes Shepard. All right.
See, the reason for that, when Mass Effect, when I first played Mass Effect, I think Mass Effect 2 was when I first started playing it. It was right when Despicable Me came out. And the littlest girl in Despicable Me was Agnes. So
Agnes,
that's where it came from. So I had Agnes Shepard all the way through.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, you played good or bad?
Paragon, good, all the way, man.
Paragon. All right.
Yep. Absolutely. But, okay, guys, to jump into our number 4, we have We Happy Few.
Try and play that as a Paragon.
Now, this is a really interesting game. A lot of people are comparing it to BioShock. In this game, there's going to be 3 different character scenarios you can play through. But every time you play it, it is a randomly generated world. So it's different every time you play it. They said the main campaign will take between 5 and 7 hours each time you do it for each character. So, I mean, what do you guys think of this We Happy Few? For me, I think it looks really cool. I'm really into horror games. I really enjoyed BioShock, so I think it's going to be a really good game.
Okay, I'm really not into horror games just because I don't see the point. In my free time, I just want to blow shit up and have some fun. And horror games aren't really that. However, this game looks amazing. The whole atmosphere looks really cool. I enjoyed BioShock, and this does have that kind of vibe. So yeah, this is one of my 5, and I really, really looking forward to it.
Sure.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and I think for this game, the only way we could get Chris to play it is if he took the little joy pills that are in the game.
Maybe it'll come. Maybe it'll come with some. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the scary games. We talked about this before. I actually didn't finish BioShock for that reason. It's just the eerie feeling when I'm walking around, and it just kind of makes me feel uneasy, and I just prefer not to play. However, that being said, I'm super intrigued by We Happy Few, but mainly from a story perspective. So what they showed on stage is the idea that they're giving these people happy pills, which Jamie referenced, and they're doing things that are in their mind are normal, fun, happy type things, but then we see in the trailer, and of course the example in the trailer was they're all smacking a piñata, but your character doesn't take his happy pill, so he's kind of almost kind of flashing in between happy world and like the real world, and when he kind of zones into what's really happening, it's not a piñata full of candy, it's like a giant rat right on the table, and they're all eating its flesh, and it's just super creepy and super gross. But I like the concept of this dystopian sort of rule where they're basically convincing these people that their life is great. So I think the game is going to have a lot to say, kind of a good social commentary. So I'm actually really excited about playing it. If I can make it through it or not is a different story.
It's good to see a game that's unlike anything. It's not particularly like anything else. Do you know what I mean?
True.
It's a very unique idea, and this whole system of the world being different every time. If they can pull that off to the point where you do just want to play it again and again and again, it could be a really exciting prospect.
I agree with
Sure.
that.
Now, this game, they said the beta is coming out at the end of July, like a preview program.
It's not. Yeah, I was going to say it's preview program. It's not
Right.
like an actual beta. So yeah.
Right. And they said the full game is supposed to come out early 2017. So they said pretty much with this preview program, it's only going to feature the one character that we saw during the E3 trailer. But once the full game releases, it's going to add the additional characters along the way.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about the preview program? Have you played any of the games that are in it?
I
haven't. No, I haven't either. I'm intrigued to try Solus and Ark, but I was on the cusp of purchasing Ark, and I just heard so many server issues with it and whatever that I just didn't get around to it. And now I haven't really got the time to play it at the moment because it's this kind of game you need to really sink hours into, from what I've heard.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So here's the thing. I've played every game that's on the preview program. You have Subnautica, Solus, The Longest Dark.
The Long Dark, yeah.
The Long Dark. There's the Prison Architect game. And then there's Ark, the dinosaur game. So I've played every one of them. I'm actually not a big fan of the preview program, and here's why. It does kind of act like a glorified demo, but the demo is kind of broken, and more times than not, it's almost made me not interested in going back in and playing the game because of the way that. I asked this. I didn't know if you guys are on in the camp of, hey, I really like having the preview and then being able to play the game. So with that being said, like when I think about We Happy Few, I almost don't want to play the preview. I kind of want to just give me a game. We're getting more and more in the video game space where we're getting half-built games, and they label it, preview, so they can test it out and see what people think about it and make the changes they need to make. But I just want somebody to give me a product and let me sit down and experience, the vision that the creators have from start to finish. And so I actually don't know. As excited as I am to try it, I don't know that I'm gonna jump in when it's on preview for that reason.
To be fair, though, it is a reduced cost that you pay to play on the preview program, and then you get the full game once it's released. It's not like you're being asked to pay your $40, $60, whatever, for the full price game, and then you still have to put up with all the bugs and glitches that it comes with. They are at a reduced cost.
No, and I agree, and I'm not saying that it's not even a money issue for me. It's just more. It's more of like I don't want to get. Like I don't want the content. Like We Happy Few seems like a game that, if it is, what would you say, 6 to 8 hours, something like that. If it is, I mean, I kind of want to sit and play that over a weekend without any sort of known bugs or alpha quality graphics or engine. And then if there's other characters, just jump in and play. Like it's just a game like that I think should just be experienced the way that it's supposed to be experienced. It's just me. I just didn't know if you guys had messed around with the preview program. Like, I mean, it's great for people that want to, to have that experience. I just, in my experience, it's almost kind of turned me off from the idea of having previews. So I may just wait till that game's just out and then jump in.
And I think you should actually man up and not spend 6 to 8 hours over a weekend. You can do that in a day. Come on.
No, I can't. Do I need to remind you how many kids I have? No, I can't.
Oh, boy. It kind of reminds me of, well, first of all, Chris, I agree with you. Normally I'll get into betas and preview programs, and I'll play a little bit of it. I'm like, okay, I've had a taste of it. I know what it is. I know if I'm going to buy it or not. I'm done. I don't like to play a lot in there because I agree. I don't want to play a broken game. It kind of reminds me of when you see a movie trailer where it tells you the entire movie from start to finish, and then you finally see the final product. I feel it might spoil the experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I guess that's what I mean. Yeah.
Sure. And so I honestly, for that, I'm super excited for that game, but I might wait as well till the final version is released.
Yeah. But let's be honest. As soon as that comes on the preview program, our fellow enthusiast, Mr. Gonzalez, is going to be on that like a hot potato, whether it's a good game or not. And
sure.
Although you won't be able to call him full price Andrew there because it'll actually be a reduced cost. But I'm sure he will buy that the second it comes out, and he'll tell us what it's like.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
With that, we're going to go out of one indie game and into another really small game some people may have heard of. Our number 3, Gears of War 4.
that little indie darling that no one saw coming. Yeah, that was
Now, and with that, I mean, Gears is my favorite Xbox exclusive series, always has been. I know that it's people seem to fall in the Halo camp or the Gears camp. I've always liked Gears a little bit more, that third-person cover shooter. I really like that a lot. And from what I've seen from Gears of War 4, this year it wasn't really a trailer. It was like a full gameplay demo. It looked exactly like what I was expecting, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was also in my top 5, and I love Halo and I love Gears. I probably love Halo more, but I'm better at Gears. I actually did a bit of competitive gaming on Gears of War 2, so I've got a bit of history with that. But the game looks phenomenal. It looks really, really nice. My one question about it are the enemies, because at the moment the enemies that we saw in that demo were just like slightly reskinned locusts. There wasn't anything really new. It was just, instead of the locusts, they're the swarm, and their skin looked slightly more pink than grey, but they looked pretty much like the locusts did, you know?
Sure. Now, Chris, what about you? I mean, are you excited for Gears 4?
Yeah, so I'm the guy.
You playing the multiplayer beta at all?
No. See, I'm the guy. We've had this conversation a couple times now. I'm the guy who hasn't played Gears before. So.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So.
The letdown of the group. I totally forgot.
So, yeah.
He'd suck at it anyway.
So I played.
It's too scary for him.
Look. I played a little bit of the first game. Whenever I had to walk, and if I got out in the shadows, these little black dots would kill me. Is this what happened in the first game?
Yeah, sure. Right.
The krill.
Yeah, and that completely, ticked me off. So I turned the game off. And then I played a little bit of the multiplayer beta when Ultimate Edition came out last year, right? That was a thing.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so I played a little bit of that beta, but I don't like multiplayer games, so that really didn't do it for me. So yeah, look, the game.
Your reason for not liking it is you suck at it. That's the truth.
I mean, I don't remember them telling me I couldn't go into the shadows.
Yes, they do.
You learn as you play.
There's a whole thing about it.
Anyway, look, the game looks phenomenal, and I said this when we did our press conference recap. I watched it with my 10-year-old daughter, the press conference, and after the whole show, after I talked about Recore the whole time, and after the show, I'm like,
Daddy, why did you show me that? I'm gonna have nightmares.
I'm like, what was your favorite game that they showed? And she said Gears of War 4, and I'm like, I don't even know you. So look, it looks great. I'm sure it's going to be great. I have all 4 of the game. There's 4, right? Because there's the Judgment, which was like a prequel. Okay, so I have all 4 360 games on backwards compatible. So I may have to just suck it up and play them. But
you have all 4 and you don't even play them. What are we going to do with him?
Well, obviously he's going to have to do it on easy anyway. So
True.
I mean, yeah, on that difficulty, you can just kind of stumble your way through, can't you?
I would say on Judgment, put multiple people online, and each person can select their own difficulty setting. So if you want to play on like baby mode, while we play on the harder difficulty, you can.
Yeah.
And baby still die more than us.
Baby mode is actually my favorite mode in any game. So.
Okay. Well, we know Chris just said he hates multiplayer games. However, our number 2 game, he is super excited for.
Yes.
And that
I am super excited for it.
Is Sea of Thieves. Now, if you hate multiplayer, why are you so excited for Sea of Thieves?
Okay, so first off, they have went on record to say that you can play this game completely by yourself. You'll have a little rowboat, and you could just row around the world and explore islands by yourself.
I've got brilliant visions. I've got brilliant visions of the Enthusiast team, like on this big boat just shooting along, and then there's Chris in his rowboat.
Wait for me, guys. I want to play too. So
he's already the saddest pirate I know. He's got the beard for it.
I don't have any friends. That's right. See, I'm there. No, so I love Rare. I mean, I was raised. We just talked about the N64 earlier. Like, I love Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Kazooie 2, or Banjo-Tooie. I love Jet Force Gemini. As bad as that game was, I love
Jet Force Gemini. It's a good game.
Yeah, Blast Corps. For the N64. Like, I love Rare. So I have the utmost. Fate that Rare is going to deliver a great, fun experience. The other part is now, being part of the Xbox Enthusiast team, I feel like, we'll be able to have some swashbuckling adventures, which will be fun. What tends to be the problem is as a father, and a working person, it's hard to coordinate with a bunch of people. Like, it used to be easier when you didn't have responsibility, but, now it's like, oh, I got to wait till the kids are in bed, or, oh, I have to do this or whatever. So it's a lot harder to coordinate time in order to make, multiplayer efforts. I actually still, hang out with people that have, 2 or 3 nights a week that they dedicate 3 hours of game time. And I'm just like, there's no way I can do that in my life right now. So it isn't necessarily that I hate multiplayer. I know I say that just kind of in jest. It's just that it's really hard to kind of coordinate. For a game like Sea of Thieves, I'm 100% on board. Hopefully we can get some fun nights that we can all jump in together and just have a good time. The game just looks phenomenal. I was watching a video, and they you could just pull out an instrument and start playing. So the video I saw online of a couple people doing the demo is like they're getting their ships getting holes blasted in it. The water is like rising, and 2 of the guys just decided to play their instruments like it was the Titanic going down. And it's just like they're not even helping; they're just sitting there playing, and that's how the game goes. So I just think that there's a lot of fun to be had there. I'm totally pumped for Rare kind of getting back to what they do great.
Cool. Now, Steve, do you have interest in Sea of Thieves?
Oh, absolutely. I'm also a huge Rare fan. I'm kind of proud that they're British, but it'd be nice to see. It'd be nice to see them getting back to what. It's as though they've kind of got their groove back. It's as though this is the game that they wanted to make. No more of this Connect stuff. No more trying to force anything into anything. It's like they've gone to Phil Spencer and said, we want to make this game, and they've said yes. And hopefully that's what we're going to get. I think the interesting thing is we have no idea when it's going to come out. It's
not
clear.
good.
It's clearly not going to be this year. Is it going to be next year? Could it even be 2018? Who knows? But what I've seen so far, I will happily put my money down day one on that.
Absolutely,
yeah,
that
I think
looks like an absolute blast.
Yeah, I think a lot
Anytime I
of the
can force Chris to walk the plank, I'm all for it.
Yeah, but sharks, man, like, dude, as soon as we were watching the press conference together, and as soon as they walked off the plank and there were sharks, I freaked out on the chat. I have this whole thing about sharks in games. I'm not digging that. But
he's
you want to be in a rowboat all by yourself rowing while sharks are attacking.
Sharks all around. But I'm totally okay with that. I'm totally okay.
He's gonna be like the one pirate who's still on the island that you start off on, isn't he? Like everyone else goes off and discovers the whole world. Chris is just there on the beach waving everyone off because there's sharks ahead.
Look, back on the release date though, is they did they really seemed last year to kind of hint at the idea of the game coming out, or at least being playable in some beta form this summer. I mean, the game seems like a summer game. I wouldn't be surprised if you may see this feel like the April, like the Quantum Break slot next year. I just think, swashbuckling, open seas, it feels like a summer game, to me. So there's a possibility that it may fill that gap because as of right now, we don't really have a first-party game announced. I feel like Scalebound will be their fall push, so hopefully we'll get it before too long. But you know what? At this point, just take your time, give me an amazing experience, and I'll be happy.
A game this big, though, is surely going to have a beta. Now, if the game was going to be coming out Q1 or even early Q2 next year, they would have announced a beta would arrive sometime at the end of the year or something. I would be surprised if it's released that early. I think we're looking at either Christmas next year or possibly even later.
Okay.
Sure.
I think we'll definitely hear some more at Gamescom. I mean, like you said, Rare is, from your neck of the woods. So, we tend to see a lot more of those developers show off their stuff at Gamescom. So maybe, in a couple of months when Gamescom comes out, we may hear about the beta, maybe even get an official release date. So we'll see. I mean, the game looks pretty far along. The fact that they were able to throw 5 people in, and if you guys know, I don't know if you've read how the demos were set up, but the demos were set up where you would play on a team of 5. You had like a rare guy as part of your team of 4 to kind of help you out. There were 5 players, and what you didn't realize is everybody that was playing through the demo at the same time, eventually the rare people led them all to the middle of this ocean area where they're all playing the same game. And so then it just turned into like a huge battle, which was a really cool way to showcase what the game can do. And so I feel like it's pretty far along. So hopefully it's not 2018, but again, Rare's taking this long to give us a great game. Let's just make sure it's great, and then let them give it to us.
Honestly, maybe it'll be a good game for next summer, like summer 2017. I don't see them going past 2017. I think the game will release in 2017.
As long as I get to see Chris freaking out about the sharks, I'm happy.
You see him in his rowboat.
It's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get like a GoPro headset so I can just record myself while I'm playing. It's not gonna be pretty.
Yeah, well, I mean, pretty much on Chris's boat, we know he won't have the skull and crossbones flag. He'll just have a white flag up automatically all the time. Just be ready for surrender. That's a white flag.
Or like a no shark sign, like
no shark. Yeah.
A shark with like in a red circle with a line through it. Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Like the Ghostbusters logo. Yeah.
If we could can we make our own flags? If we could, that would be awesome.
Oh.
Okay, guys. Before we get into our number 1 game, to kind of let our listeners kind of wait in anticipation, we all know what our number 1 game is. So before we get into that, what game so far that we haven't talked about do you think should have been on the list?
Forza Horizon 3.
Okay, Steve, and why?
Because I love racing games. The Forza games are the best racing games around, and this one looks amazing.
Yeah.
Now, what's so special about this one compared to the other Forza games? What pushes this over the line for you?
Okay, 4-player co-op sounds like it could be an absolute hoot because I have friends, unlike Chris. Also,
that's low.
The Australia setting seems really cool because you do have cities, you've got beaches, you've got the outback, you've got kind of tropical areas. It could be really, really cool. It's got more cars, that you're starting with more cars than the game's ever had before. The weather system is no doubt improved. The night cycle is no doubt improved. And tie that up to the best physics engine for racing games around, and it's going to be stunning.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with Horizons 3. Unlike Steve, I'm not a huge racing game fan overall. I don't typically play the Prime Forza games, but I've always loved the Horizon series just because for me it feels a little more laid back. And
they're easier to play. They're easier to play.
Yeah.
It's suck.
Yeah, that's true. Look, hashtag Chris is not good at video games. That's fine. You can try that. Listen, no, but seriously though, for me, I like the idea of just loading up Forza Horizons 2, jumping in a car, tuning the radio to something I want to listen to, and just driving. The game is gorgeous. It feels great, and it's just a lot of fun. And I love the they call them drivatars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's super cool to see just kind of your friends, pass by you and be able to kind of challenge them, whether they're online or not, just kind of challenge their time, at a race or a time trial. And it's just a relaxing, fun way to experience a racing game. Right now, the Games for Gold is giving away The Crew, which is kind of similar in the way that it's kind of an open world. And I downloaded it. I played it for, I don't know, 15 minutes, and then I just cried because it wasn't Forza Horizons 3. So yeah, I can't wait. Horizons 3 is going to be fantastic.
Well, Chris, what about you? What game do you wish was on this list? Do you think deserves to be on this top 5?
So I have a lot. I want to mention.
Get one.
Well, you can't mute me. So I want to mention Telltale's Batman, which looks amazing. But if I had to pick a game that I think should be on the list, it should be Inside. And unfortunately we didn't get a lot from the press conference as far as further details about the game. It was really just kind of a quick trailer. But they capped the trailer off by saying, and the game's going to be out on June, I believe it's 29th, so just a couple of weeks from now. And that's a game, so it's from Playdead. They're the team who brought us Limbo, and they've been working on Inside since Limbo shipped, and Limbo was just a fantastic game. Steve makes fun of me because I like walking simulators, and and Limbo has some puzzle elements to it, but it's really just kind of telling a story as you walk from left to right, and it
Sure.
looks like that's kind of what Inside is as well. Limbo,
Chris, because I must say, that game kind of has some horror elements in it. I mean, there's a lot of death and a lot of darkness and monsters and things like that.
Spiders.
Yes, exactly. Giant spiders.
It did. No, I mean
no sharks. No sharks.
No, there were no sharks. That's right. Yeah, I mean some of the scenes of when you had to jump on dead bodies to get across the water. I mean that there's some really morbid stuff in there, but the music was just brilliant, and just kind of the art design as far as with the black and white aesthetic. It was a great expression, really an artistic expression, and I had a lot. I don't want to say I had a lot of fun with it, but I super enjoyed it, and this looks to be taking kind of the same formula, the same walk from left to right formula, but it's completely different. There's color, added. There's a bunch of people. Limbo was very isolated. You had a spider. You had every now and then a couple of shadowy figures that would appear, but you were mainly isolated by yourself the whole game. This game, you are surrounded by people. There's people everywhere. But I just look forward to what unfolds, the story that unfolds. Playdead, is a great developer, and that's a game that we've been talking about. Of course, I wanted it to be part of the new Summer of Arcade, which we did not get announced, but at this point, just getting Inside in a couple weeks is super exciting for me, and I think it's going to be one of the strongest games on the Xbox platform this year. So.
Yeah, it should be a really good game because, like you said, Limbo was absolutely fantastic, and they've been working on this game for quite a while. So hopefully they'll be able to, to get some of that Limbo brilliance into this game as well. It should be fantastic.
Yeah.
As for me, I was thinking of quite a few games myself, like you, Chris, and I'm thinking, what game do I want to talk about? Just as far as presentation and trailers go, I'm going to say Dead Rising 4. With this game, you know exactly what you're getting. I mean, it's going to be goofy, over-the-top, zombie killing. It's going to be hilarious. And just the way they presented it, because it's coming out in December. And so they gave it a Christmas
for
theme.
Christmas.
So Christmas music was playing, and they had like the zombies all strung up in lights. And they had actual snow fall on the audience. Like, just all of that, I saw that.
It wasn't actual snow. But...
I obviously. But you know what I mean.
They imported that from Canada, okay? That was real snow.
In LA in June.
Sure, they have big freezers up there. It's fine.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that game just looked really good. I will say I'm kind of surprised. I mean, it's getting a timed exclusive on Xbox One, a year-long timed exclusive, 90-day exclusive on Windows 10, which I'm kind of surprised because Dead Rising 3 was completely Xbox exclusive. The only Dead Rising that wasn't exclusive on Xbox was Dead Rising 2. So I'm kind of surprised that this is also going to PlayStation as well. I've always thought of Dead Rising as an Xbox brand, even though, I mean, it's, like I said, it's gone multi-platform before. In my mind, I still think of Dead Rising as an Xbox brand.
Yeah.
See, I've still got Dead Rising 3 sat on my shelf. It's like a day one edition. I've not touched it because I've heard it's very much a game that you need to play co-op, and none of my other mates who've got an Xbox One have got it. So it's there just kind of waiting for someone to pick it up. I've been hoping it was going to be like in the games with gold for a while now, so I can play it with one of my mates, but it's just not happened.
Sure.
Yeah, that's where I am. I've been wanting it to go.
But you haven't got any friends. We've established this.
And plus, it's got horror elements in it. You're not gonna like it, and it's not a walking simulator.
I don't think it's a horror game. Come on.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just zombies and blood and
Sure.
Yeah.
That's not horror. It's fun. Oh, by the way,
All right.
The Dead Rising movie that was free on Crackle came out last summer. They got a sequel coming out this June.
Wait, they have a movie?
Yeah, Dead Rising Watchtower. It was actually really enjoyable. Go watch it.
It's
funny.
getting a
It's
sequel.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
I think they're doing a sequel.
Yeah, the sequel comes out at the end of the month. Comes out in like 2 weeks, I think.
Before we move on, Kendra didn't actually give us her list. Andrew's number one is actually the number one for everyone. But it's worth saying that Eli's choice was that game from Volition. It's Agents of Mayhem.
Oh, yeah.
The thing from the Saints Row developer. So his number one, unfortunately, didn't even make the top 5. But he's played it, and he said it was his game of the show. He's astounded by it. So
yeah, well, and we'll plug. He wrote up a story on it. So if you guys don't know about it, definitely go to XboxEnthusiast.com and check it out. He actually shared some stuff that I was unaware of. I kind of turned off by the game initially. But it's almost set up like a hero shooter. He said there's like 12 different heroes, and when you go out on your missions, you kind of choose the ones you want to take. That makes it like 100% more something that I'm interested in. So yeah, I'm a lot more interested now having read his preview.
Cool.
But now we've built that up. What's our number one, James?
Sure. Well, okay, Chris, drum roll, please.
Oh, there's shocks in it.
What?
I'm just saying that because for those who don't know, Chris is holding his laptop outside, so
That's 100 degrees.
Our number one game for Xbox Enthusiast for E3 2016
Build it up. Pause for effect.
Is the
Recore.
Recore.
Now, I will say this is a game. Well, I know Chris has been hyped for this game forever. He's always had faith in this game. He's always been excited. I've been kind of on the fence about it because I'm like, I want to see more. Like, I thought it looked interesting last year. It's got great people working on it. But I must say, after this year, seeing that trailer, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to play this game. Now that I've seen the full concept, like in motion, how it works, jump between the robots and everything, I'm like, this is a must-play game for me. This game is going to be really, really good. But Chris, before we get over to your love for the game, Steve, what about you? What are you excited for Recore? What did you think of the trailer?
Okay, when I saw it last year, because it was just like a concept trailer last year, wasn't it? There was no gameplay or anything.
No, that's what I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I was really intrigued by the idea. It kind of reminded me of that. What was that game by the guys who did Heavenly Sword and Andy Serkis? It was like not Enchanted. It was like I can't remember.
What was that called? I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Where it had a guy and a girl. The one guy's name was like Monkey or something, right?
Yeah. That's the
What
game.
was that called?
Oh, that was
I love that game. I
Enslaved.
can't remember what it's called.
Enslaved.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
Not Enlightened. It kind of reminded me of that kind of vibe, but set in a desert. But
that game was amazing.
Yes,
it was.
Enslaved was really good.
Yeah, I loved that game. Where were we? Recore, yes. Now I've actually seen the gameplay. It does look very cool. I'm slightly concerned that it's only $40 rather than $60, because that might mean that it's quite a short game. But I am properly up for it, and I'm really hoping that there's a robot shark in it so that Chris freaks out.
Sure. Right. Well, actually, speaking of the $40, though, I mentioned to you guys before. I mean, with the $40 thing, Ratchet and Clank, the remake, I guess you would call it, was only $40. And while some people say, well, that was just the remake of another game, they still had to build it from the ground up. I mean, there's still all new assets, there's brand new everything.
Yeah, but they didn't have to create gameplay. They didn't have to create maps.
Well, no, but I mean, they made new areas, they made new
create
cutscenes, they did. I mean,
and they didn't have to create characters. It was all done. They just had to rebuild it. Do you know what I mean? So that's a very different scenario.
Kind of, but I mean, it wasn't exactly,
also,
spot for spot remake though.
And also, Ratchet and Clank was really missing sharks.
So, and also Ratchet and Clank was a PlayStation game, so that's enough of that.
I'm just making the comparison with the $40 thing.
So let's talk ReCore. First off, let's start negative, and I completely agree with Steve as far as the price goes. It doesn't make me worry about the game. It just I want to play this game so much, and I want to have a full experience. If this turns out to be like a 3 or a 4 hour game with little to no replayability, like I think I will ultimately be a little disappointed overall. I'd like to see something more along the lines of an 8 to 10 hour, full experience, and so hopefully that's what we get. But that's really the only negative. The game looks like exactly what I wanted it to be. So real quick, the important things that we learned is that you do have different color cores on the robot. So the cores are the orbs that you see. She pulls out. Jewel will pull out with her little grappling hook, or what Mac, the little dog, has kind of in his torso, the blue glowing orb. Those are called cores. And so we see red. We see red.
Core.
Yeah. Thank you, Jamie.
No problem. I just wanted to explain that in case you didn't get that. I just wanted to let you know.
You've got to keep these things simple for Chris.
It literally means you can use the core again. Very nice. So we've seen red and blue. There's also been confirmation that there's yellow cores. But what happens is for Jewel, attached to the D-pad or assigned to the D-pad are different colored bullets that she'll be shooting. So if you're shooting at a blue cored robot, you need to have blue bullets, so on and so forth. And there will be times at the game where you are ambushed by blue and red and yellow robots. Between the
Well, I think we just lost Chris.
Oh no!
Okay. Well, before
that was eaten by sharks.
Well, I mean, is there anything else you want to speak about on the ReCore with, like Chris was saying, to switch out the cores and the different colored bullets to attack different enemies?
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. It's a bit kind of like, did you ever play that shoot 'em up, the Ikaruga, where you had to swap between black and white? And
no, I haven't. No.
Now that was kind of the opposite. You had to shoot black things with white bullets and white things with black bullets, and you kind of swapped around. And also, you could go through their bullets if you were the same color. It was an interesting thing, and it made it hard as hell, that game. But it could be a really fun game mechanic.
Cool. Well, I mean, and like I said, this game is one where once I saw it in motion, I'm like, this is something I absolutely have to play. It just looks like my kind of game. And so it should be a really interesting game. And I mean, that's reason why, even though it wasn't everybody's #1 game on their own personal list, adding everything together.
Was on everyone's list,
right,
yeah.
Every single person at Xbox Enthusiast is excited for ReCore for a good reason.
Yeah, Andrew played it, and when he first spoke to us about it, he was saying that he had issues with the camera. We were all a bit concerned, of kind of like, oh no, this game's not going to live up to the hype. But he went back and played it again, and as I said, it is his top choice for games that he's played. So it must just be one of those things where it takes you a while to get used to the camera. But I mean, there is kind of like a 3D action, 3D platformer kind of vibe to it. So the camera is quite an important thing, and it might just take a while to get used to moving it around.
Sure. And honestly, with it coming out, it comes out this August, so we'll absolutely be able to get our hands on it and get our review to you guys as soon as possible. It's definitely a game that a lot of us can't wait to get our hands on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So sorry to say with Chris being gone, but this is our top 5 for Xbox Enthusiasts. Now, let us know, what was your top 5? what game do we leave out that you feel we absolutely should have had on this list? Let us know in the comments down below. Let us know in the comments down below. Definitely check that out. For the rest of Xbox Enthusiasts, make sure to check out xboxenthusiast.com. For the rest of our E3 coverage, you can also check out our YouTube page. We've got reviews of every conference, EA, Bethesda, Ubisoft, and Microsoft, so make sure to go check those out as well. As for our podcast, you can always find that on iTunes. We're also now on the Google Play Store as well as SoundCloud and the Microsoft MP3 Store. So pretty much everywhere under the sun, go ahead, find us, check us out. But until next time, from Chris, he says farewell. But until next time, guys, we are out.